Hello everyone, it's Andrew from Gem TCG, and today I'm very excited to talk about something that is truly amazing, and I was not expecting to hit this number so soon, but TCG Automate now has uploaded 1 million cards to the software and been listed to eBay, and in just honestly a few short months, because it launched on July 22nd, so it's been a little bit over 3 months, and we already hit 1 million cards uploaded. And I think this is just one, it's amazing, and two, it shows how much the community is growing and how much people are willing to help each other out and just work on their stores and not worry about other like drama or anything related to that. Because even with the Discord, everyone is very helpful to one another, and seeing that makes me really happy because it's not like on Facebook where one person says something and then there's a bunch of people making fun of them or being rude. And the community being grown from TCG Automate is just, in my opinion, the best one I've ever been a part of, and I'm very grateful for that. And I also just wanted to make this video to show some of the new features that have been added to TCG Automate and hopefully show you guys how it could be useful for you, because I realize that I've shown like kind of, and I've done demos on that, but I haven't really shown everything else that's been added. And there have been a bunch of quality of life updates ever since it came out, thanks to all the users telling me what would be helpful and what they would like to see on the app. Because I am just one person and I have my methods, but hearing all the other sellers' perspective and what they would find helpful has really helped this app grow to be truly great and powerful. And the amount of time it just saves you overall is unmatched. I don't think anything can compete with how fast you can list cards now to eBay with TCG Automate. But let me show you guys exactly what I am talking about. And also, if you ever need a live demo, I've started doing this Sundays at 3 p.m. Eastern time. You can sign up to this and you'll get an email with the link to the meeting. So if you ever want to see a live demo and just ask questions, you can fill out that form and you will get the link. So starting off at the dashboard page, there's just shows you all the batches you have created. And then if you ever want to update anything, this is a new feature. You can select on all of them, or like whichever ones you want, and then you can combine the batches. So let's say you uploaded like 50 cards at one time and you recently got more cards, but wanted them to be a part of the same batch. You could just combine them and then it will put them all together. So that way you can list them together, update the quantities, and do whatever that you would find helpful. You could also mark them as listed or not listed in one button now, instead of having to list them or like click on them all together. So that's that. And you could also filter for like which ones you've listed or not listed. You could look up more at a time. I only have 7 batches right now, so it doesn't work, or it doesn't, there's no more extra to be shown. And starting off, because this is kind of like that not many people use, but one of the very good things that can be used for vendors or anyone that just needs to get quick price comps is this collection page. And the way it works is that you just type in any card and then you could type in the number as well, and it will show you the exact card with that number combination. So this way it's like very quick to find the exacts, because if I just typed in Pikachu, there's, thousands, not thousands, but there's like hundreds of out here. But if I just type in a number along with it, I get a very narrow down list, very easy to find quick price comps, and you don't have to go through TCG Player and like search for the name and then filter it out and do all that stuff. And it also shows you the first edition and the unlimited pricing, and it works the same if you were to do like reverse hollow regular. So like this one's the normal price, this is the reverse hollow. So just a big time saver. And of course, you could just add them if you want to get a quick list going. You can update the quantity if needed. So that's a very helpful feature. Now I'm going to talk about some of the connections I have added. And if you have one of these machines, it gives you a CSV that once you put in the cards and you're finished like inputting all the cards, it'll give you a CSV. And you can take that CSV from both Cardbot or Roka or Fizzbatch and then upload it to TCG Automate, and it will convert it into eBay listings with stock images. So I know some people that have listed probably like upwards of cards easily with just something like this, because you don't have to take any pictures. You don't need to get the quantities or do anything. It just does it all for you. So super helpful tool. And if you have one of those 3 machines, it is just very helpful. And another benefit is that there's no usage charge, so it won't increase your card scanned count, which is very good if you want to be like not wasteful of those scans. And one thing I've made a video on this before, but the combined eBay duplicates is a great feature if you have a lot of duplicate listings. And Some people say that having duplicate listings will hurt your impressions and will like kind of from being listed or like being shown. I haven't had that issue. I have probably thousands of duplicate listings, and my impressions are constantly rising. But if you are worried about that, you could always just do this and you upload. These are the instructions to how to get that CSV. And then you upload it to here, like you just click this, and then you click, let me just do a demo. This is the wrong file, so it's not going to show the actual numbers. But then once you upload it, it'll say download file. Then you can download the cleaned report, like the combined report, which shows you where the duplicate cards were and then which SKU they should go to. So very helpful. And if you want more details, check out this video that shows the entire feature in use and in action. Now, the best feature that has been added, in my opinion, ever since the launch is this create a batch from set feature. And the way this works is that, let's say you have a bunch of cards from one set and you want to have a variation listing going. The original methods or like system you do is scan or take pictures of all of the cards, go on eBay and make a variation listing, and input them all one by one, up to 250 variants. You just do that. Or you could do it a much faster way was doing it with the TCG Automate List Cards feature, and you'll just upload the images. It'll create a batch for you, and then you just download it as a variation, and then you upload it to eBay. Now that is a great feature, and it saved a ton of time. But now if you want to skip the picture taking process, or let's say you just didn't have a certain card in stock at the time, but you still wanted that variation added. Now, if you just go to this page and let's just say you wanted to do a listing for celebrations. Let's do the classic collection because that's cooler. You would just put this information, and let's say you wanted to narrow it down by rarity. For celebrations, there's no rarity. So let's do something more filterable. So let's say we wanted to do RCS, and you could choose any rarity you want. So let's say we're going to do all the hollow rares, and ultra rares from RCS, and then you could also narrow it down by the card type. I'm not going to do that for now. And before you even create the batch, you can preview what's going to be added. So as you can see, all these will be added. And in the instance, like we saw this cane growth, let's say we didn't want it. We can just unselect it there. You can unselect eradicate. Like you could and deselect any card you want. And then once you're ready, right now it says 47 cards matched it, but 45 will be created because you excluded 2 of them. You would just click confirm and create. And then instantly you get all these. Let me change the name. You get all these listings ready for you. And you could change the template too if you wanted to, but I just left it pretty basic for now. Gives you the pricing, gives you all the item specifics that are important to the listing, and then you have all of these pictures. So that's a pretty cool card. But this is like I'm sure you guys can understand how helpful and powerful this tool, like this feature is, and how much time it would save you, especially if you are getting bulk in from very modern sets. Because one thing I've learned by doing variation listings for the modern cards are it's almost like the first, like the early it's the worm. The quicker you are to make that listing, the higher your chances are of getting those sales. Because with the 151 set, I think I had mine going probably not even a week after it got released because I had a bunch of bulk coming in and I just made the variations. And instantly the sales just blew up, and that kind of like skyrocketed the performance and kept that momentum going. Whereas if I would have listed it 2 to 3 weeks later, because it just simply takes too much time, who knows if I would have had great sales like that. So being the first out there for new cards is very important. So something like this will save you a ton of time and be very helpful for getting things out quickly. And then once you have everything finished, you want to change your prices, of course, if you want. And speaking of which, there's this roundup prices feature, which will round up to the nearest whole dollar. So like right here, 1846, 34.3. But if we click this button, it just rounds them up all to a clean number. So that way you don't have like weird 1935 for a price. And it's a very quick time saver. So then once you finish that and you want to download the variation listing, you just click this and you click download, and you would enter in your eBay listing title, and then you would select an image, and let's just choose some basic image. Then you have the option to sort the variations alphabetically or by number, or you could just leave it blank and have it in the order it was uploaded in. But I like to do them alphabetically, and then you just download it and you get that, and then you upload it to eBay. So it's very fast. Like even while making this video, I technically made a 45 card variation listing in not even 2 minutes. And that's simply impossible to do if you don't have tools like this. And next up is listing graded cards. Now, this is still in beta because there's only the PSA option for now, because I've tried to reach out to CGC and BG, and I don't know why, but they are very hard to communicate with, and they're not very prompt with the times, which, I mean, in is why PSA is probably number one, because they have these sort of systems in place and their communication is a lot better. So the way this works is that you just type in the cert number of the card. So let's just say we had this one, and then I don't even know if these are actual cert numbers, but we would type that in, and then you'd go to PSA from here, generate token, and then just copy that value. And then once you have that ready, you just click create batch. And right there, you get the listings ready for you. It has the images and very clean. Now, I do need to fix this cutoff issue. I don't know why that's happening, but you get the grades ready. It puts the grade for you, and you could check eBay if you want to get some price comps. Now, it won't always have the price comps available, like you saw with the Crow card, but the Yamamoto card, this guy has it listed for 75, so you could be around that price if you want to be competitive. And then you could list it to eBay or Shopify, whichever you prefer. And last but not least, the most important feature of TCG Automate, which is where it all started from, is this list cards feature. So since the beginning, there have been a lot of improvements to this page and then the next page that comes to it or comes from it. So I'm sure you guys have all seen, these are very basic, but like batch name, template, category, your floor price, market price multiplier, which takes the TCG player market price and then multiplies it by whichever value you put in here. So if you wanted to double the market prices for your pricing, just click put 2. If you wanted to do a 50% increase, just do 1.5, and so on. And then you could do front and back images or front only. And these are the card games that have been added. As you can see, there's a ton of TCGs. A lot of like the smaller have been added because it's very important to a lot of the users. So I wanted to get it added for them. Now, I personally only do Pokemon and Magic, but a lot of people have been enjoying the One Piece specifically, and Sorcery, and believe Orkana is also a very popular one. And then for sports cards, we have basketball, football, baseball, all base cards from 1980 to 2025. And there, it doesn't have all of the cards yet, but I plan to get more added very soon. And then this is the very important part of this page, which has been added recently. So like, let's say you're uploading Magic the Gathering and you had a bunch of Dominaria United. You can just type in the set abbreviation, which is DMU, or you can type in Dominaria United and then select it. And let's say you had the Commander version as well. Select those, and you could also exclude any sets if you wanted to. So like, let's say you didn't want to have pre-release cards. You would just do that. And the way this works is that if you include sets, then it will basically exclude everything else. But if you don't filter for any sets, like let's say it was blank and then we excluded only pre-release, it would filter for every single set except pre-release cards. And then you can do the same, it's the same concept for the rarity. So like, let's say we wanted only commons and uncommons. We would select those two. Or if what I had, you wanted to just exclude mythics and rares, you can do that as well. And then the last thing is the phone images, which is if you're uploading cards from a phone, typically there's going to be a lot of background and shadow and a lot of distractions in there. So I added this feature for phone users to just click this and it will sort of help the AI. It's not 100% perfect, but it's better than not toggling it on. So if you're uploading from a phone, make sure to select that. And then let's do a batch really quick. So we got all the images uploaded, and then it's obviously Dominaria United. Everything looks good. And then we just click submit batch. And what I like to do during this part of the process is just sleeve the cards or put them into the inventory. I just try to multitask while this is happening because it does take a little bit of time. I think it's like around maybe to 2 minutes if you have like over 100. So multitasking during this process can be pretty helpful and make you more efficient. And I'm not going to go through editing this whole batch, but some of the new features that have been added is this total cards and total market value. So as you can see, I uploaded 126 cards. If I were to update this quantity, it would go to 130. So that gets updated in real time, and so does the market value, which is pretty cool to look at. And then most of the new features added to this page have been on this little side component that can be used if, for example, the card is incorrect. And one thing I added that is very helpful for smaller screens is the show large preview, which shows the listing image and the matched image in a larger size. And you could also filter it to just show the listing image by itself. But I like to have both of them because for Magic, the set symbol is very small and it's hard to see if you don't understand like all of them. Like I'm very familiar with Pokemon and I could recognize a symbol from a mile away, but for Magic, I'm still learning, so it's a little bit harder. You can also make it smaller if you want, so it's very customizable. And if you ever want to navigate to the next card, you can click this next button or the previous one, or you could just click right and left on the keyboard. And as you can see, I mean, any changes yet, but I'm trying to find one that isn't accurate or isn't correct at least. And I typically go through each one by one. It takes a little bit of time, but it's worth it in my opinion because the last thing you want to do is list something incorrectly and then like someone buys it from you and they realize it's not the right card, or it just looks bad that you have like, let's say this card tribute to Urborg, and then it was labeled as colossal growth. Like you don't want that because it makes you look bad as a seller. And okay, there it is. This one is not accurate. And as you can see, it's the second option from the predictions list. So what I could do is just click this one and then it updates automatically. And an even quicker feature, which was recommended by one of the users, is this auto advance feature. So let's just go back to the original for now. If you have this auto advance feature on and then you select the correct card, it selects it and updates it, and then it takes you to the next card. So it's very helpful and it makes things very fast because you don't have to, it minimizes one extra step. Like it takes it away completely. Like right here. And it takes you to the next card. So huge time saver. And this is what I mean by like the community and users are very important to making this a good, actually not just good, a great product and software. And I don't like the base functionality and features were there, but this app would not be where it was or where it is today without them. And I'm just very grateful for that. I'm very like glad to have such a good user base and community. And I don't know if you have noticed yet, but if a card is incorrect and it's not on the predictions, you could always just search and you don't even have to click onto the search bar. You can just start typing from anywhere and then it will show up. And you could also type in the number too and it'll show up as well. And this is very helpful because for Magic, there's a lot of reprint cards. So like it'll be the same name, but different number. And another great feature is it doesn't work necessarily for Magic, but for like Pokemon or things, you could type in the number like this and it will show you the exact card. So like, let's just it's not going to show up right now, but like Pikachu from set would be 58 out of 102. And then it'll show Pikachu from base set. So that's very helpful. And then again, let me just show you guys how I close out a batch is I combine all the duplicates. And this is the most satisfying part because it makes a huge thing pop up and you guys will see it right now. So like right there, all those duplicates were combined and it went from 126 different card listings to 94. So around 30 cards were combined into listings, which is very helpful if you are limited on the amount of listings you can make, and also just helps with getting multiple quantity sales. And then last thing I like to do is filter by mark or like sorted by the market price in case anything is expensive that I need to adjust. In this batch, nothing was above $1 and nothing was above 50 cents. It's a very cheap card, so I don't need to adjust any prices here. But I just download it, go to the link on the page, and then I upload it. And it only takes like 20 seconds to upload, I believe. And then once it's complete, that's it. I go here, I delete the batch so that I don't get confused. Some people like to just make them marked as listed. I just like to delete them to clean out this page. And then if we just look at eBay, they're all listed. So that's the full, I like to say, I guess, version 2 of TCG Automate. And thank you all for watching the end of this video. I'm very glad to hear that you guys enjoyed the app and that it has been helpful for your business. And if you ever need more help, always reach out in the Discord. You could email me at contact@ gemtcg.com, or you can comment on this video and I will make videos in response to that, or try to at least make a short form video. So thank you all again. It's amazing to see how far it has come so far, and the next goal would be like, I don't know, 2 million or 5 million. We'll see. So yeah, hope you guys all have a great day, and I'll see you all in the next video.